Hello, and welcome to Noble TV. We are the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives. My name is Eugene Williams, and I'm your host for today. I want to thank you in advance for calling in. We are on CAN TV 21, and you can also see us online at cantv.org/hotline. And today's show is going to be about the many different ways that Noble does outreach in the communities and interact with the community. And there's never been a greater time for that than there is now today with all that's going on. And to that end, I'm pleased to have with me today Mrs. Carla Coupe-Arian, who is the Director of Community Relations for the Chicago chapter of Noble. Welcome, Carla.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great. So what we want to do, we want to start, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and then tell us about your role as the Director of Community Relations for Noble in the Chicago area.
Sure. I'm currently an attorney for the City of Chicago Law Department, and I'm assigned to the Federal Civil Rights Litigation Division, which is tasked with defending the city as well as police officers in lawsuits. And as far as my role as the Director of Community Relations for our chapter, I've been in that position since the latter part of 2014, and I basically oversee, coordinate, and initiate community outreach efforts and initiatives.
Great. I take it you get a lot of requests.
Yes. Almost every other day I get a phone call or email from community groups, churches, schools, but also the local and national media because one of our programs, Law in Your Community, is gaining more and more attention. So
Great. Okay, so I know that Noble has considerable outreach across not just the Chicago area, but the entire metropolitan area. I've seen recently where we did a traffic safety event in the Orland Park Mall with the law enforcement from as far north and northwest as Elgin, all the way out to all of the South Suburban Chiefs. I've seen Noble in the Bud Billiken Parade. I've seen Noble a few months back with the father-daughter dance. And we'll be showing some of those slides in just a little bit as to some of the work that Noble has been doing. But right now, Carla, what I want you to do is to just share with us what is the linchpin, what is the centerpiece of what Noble's outreach to the community is, what Noble's interaction with the community is at the present time.
absolutely. So the basically main efforts that we have right now is called the Law in Your Community. It is a law literacy or know your rights program, but it has really transformed into a very powerful community law enforcement relationship building program that we have been rolling out since the beginning of last year, so 2015, here in Chicago, but also nationwide.
Okay, great. We want to remind our viewers that this is a live interactive show and that you can call in. You see the number at the bottom of your screen, 312-738-1060, so feel free to call in. And again, you can also view us online at cantv.org, cantv.org/hotline. Great. So Carla, let's just talk a little bit more about the law in your community. And this is the centerpiece of everything that we're doing in Noble right now in terms of outreach. Is it my understanding that this is a program that has been embraced by the City of Chicago, by the Chicago Police Department, by Chicago Public Schools, and so forth, and then even beyond that to the community and others? Just touch on that, if you will.
Absolutely. As we have partnered up with Chicago Public Schools and Chicago Police Department since last June, and we have piloted the program in 3 elementary schools last summer. That we expanded that to 6 to 8 schools in the fall and over the spring into this year, and we're about to start a new cycle this fall in 10 schools, 5 high schools and 5 middle schools.
That's great. I see we have a caller on. Let's take this call and then we can continue. Caller, your comment or question?
Hello, yes, I was wondering, could you give me more information about the Law in Your Community program? I've heard a lot about it, but I'd just like more information.
Sure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your question. So basically, the Law in Your Community is a program that is basically its main function is to educate community members about their civil rights when it comes to encountering law enforcement. But also, we do spend a lot of time talking about different types of crimes, especially the ones that our young people unfortunately kind of fall into, not even willingly or on purpose, but we do want them to understand that certain things that they may not consider crimes are crimes. So we want to make sure that they have the information to make the right decisions and smart decisions as well. And then we do, as our main tool, we use interactive role reversal skits where we do place either a member of community, and again, that could be a teenager, that could be an adult, in the position of the police officer, and us facilitators, will play the role of the community member, and we will act out certain scenarios. We do talk about what it's like to be a law enforcement officer, so that the community understands the position and the emotions and the dynamics from the law enforcement side. But like I said, we do use this in community halls and Q&A sessions where both sides can talk to each other, can listen to each other, and learn from each other.
Great. Again, thank you, caller. Never has, as I said earlier, never has the need been greater than it is now for this type of outreach from law enforcement organizations. So really pleased with all of the work that is being done. But let's go back to the law in your community again, the training. Share with us, if you will, who is the target audience, or what is the age groups, if you will?
Absolutely. So this can be done in many different settings. We have done it, like I said, in middle schools and high schools, but we have had or have been asked to participate in Q&A sessions or town halls where we actually would have only adults or mixed audiences. So there is no prescribed age group. We can do this in different settings. And so, we're just really trying to maximize this conversation even taking place with different segments of the community.
Great. Again, we want to remind you this is a live interactive program. You can call in at 312-738-1060. 738-1060, 312. So we're going to show some slides again. I indicated earlier of the different things that you've been doing in schools during the past year. But tell me what your plans are, and we'll take this call, and I want you to tell us what your plans are for the coming school year. School is going to start in another week or so. Some schools have already started, but in the next week or so, we're going to have a school starting. And so what are you planning to do with the law in your community and schools for the coming year?
Absolutely. So this fall, we will, as I said, be in 5 high schools and 5 middle schools here within the Chicago public school system, but we're also branching out now into the southern suburbs, in the Hazel Crest and South Holland area and the Thornton Township. We're also assisting the Evanston Police Department in rolling out the program in that school district as well. So as you can see, there's a lot of demand, not just here, but in the Chicago metro area and outside, throughout the region, Midwest region as well.
Yeah, and that is quite manpower intensive to be able to do all of these training sessions. Again, we're talking about the membership of Noble being law enforcement for the most part, and at any rate, mostly everyone except people like myself who are retired, but everybody has a job, and we're asking them to come out and volunteer their time in order to make this program work. And so far, there's been quite a demand for it, and I just want to say how proud I am of the membership stepping up to the plate for this initiative. We have a caller on. Caller?
Hello. I've got a young men's group at my church, and I really would like to have my young men meet this young woman and have her put her presentation on in front of my young men's group at my church. How would I go about doing that?
Okay, thank you, caller. Go ahead.
Thank you. So anybody, and like I said, we get these requests a lot from church groups, after school groups, or other community groups, or clergy group. All you have to do is contact us, and our contact information is right there. You can email me at communityrelations@noblechicago.org, and I will just gather the information as far as how many people are attending, what kind of setting this is taking place, and then we can basically customize a session for your group according to your needs.
Great, thank you, caller. So, as a part of this, or parallel to rolling out the law in your community training, there was some requests by a number of people in the community about how it is that you would go about sharing this information with young people as to how they should interact with police, what their rights are, and what the rights of police officers are. Did you develop or Noble develop a palm card, so to speak, that addresses that?
Absolutely. So what started happening as we were having these sessions out in the community, we had a lot of people come up to us after the fact and say, I really wish we had known this information before, or I wish my son or my daughter would have had this information before. And out of that request or feedback, we put together the palm card that basically gives some tips as to things that we from law enforcement have seen, that we want to make sure every community member knows. We put them in forms of palm cards so that people could have them in their purse, in their car, or wherever, and just basically provide this information as far as staying safe and knowing what to do in case something happens.
Okay, thank you. This program is not something that was just thrown together willy-nilly. This is a copyrighted program by National Noble. And this program has also been under the review of the Department of Justice. And we've also had it talked about extensively during the hearings for the Police Accountability Task Force. And correct me if I'm wrong, but did not the Department of Justice come out and actually sit and sit through one of the sessions at one of the schools you were doing the training at?
They absolutely did. When the national office was seeking approval from the Department of Justice, they actually picked Chicago to come and actually look at the program. Initially, this program was developed or drafted as a 90-minute presentation that could be done, in mass settings or assembly type settings. Under my direction and with the leadership of our chapter, we have turned this into a multi-session program, and that's something that we basically took this program beyond of what it was initially supposed to do. And the Department of Justice's COPS office, the Community Oriented Policing Services office, heard of how innovative this program has been here in Chicago, so that they came to Chicago and came to one of our sites. That site was the Austin Middle Multiplex High School. And the representatives actually sat in and were able to ask questions of the students as far as what they liked about the program, if being part of the program changed their perspective of law enforcement, and what the students would take away from this course. So it was very interesting to hear their responses. And the representatives also told us that the program has gained so much attention that it's even got the attention of President Obama's task force on 21st century policing as well.
Right. And I just wanted to kind of piggyback on that. And if you could, just share with me the feedback that you've gotten from the young people and from the adults when you've conducted these training sessions.
Absolutely. And it has been, I think everybody agrees, whether or not we all agree on everything, everybody agrees that this kind of interaction and conversation is needed, is wanted, and has to happen. And so from the middle schoolers to the high schoolers to the adults, everybody does benefit from these sessions, and they are asking for them. Obviously, as I said, I get requests almost daily for this program. A lot of youth, just wants to understand what's going on, wants to understand what law enforcement is and is not supposed to do, and how they are to interact in a appropriate way. And right now, it's just really a lot about just seeing the other person as a person, not somebody in uniform, not somebody from a certain neighborhood, but just seeing the other person as a person and understanding on the human level, on the personal level, how what currently goes on everywhere in the country, affects all of us. And I think we all agree that it does it in the same way.
And it must be working to some extent. I gather that we're getting inquiries from even national news. You have a program that you're rolling out tomorrow. You indicated that you might have as many as 1,000 young people out in the south suburbs at Thornton. is it CBS Evening News who wants to come and view that or video that?
Correct. So we and for this particular event, CBS Evening News wants to come and also interview the youth and see how this being part of such a program
Yes.
has impacted them. You know, we have had a lot of local coverage from the Chicago Tribune, from NBC5.
Yes.
So it truly, I believe everybody, like I said, even the media, does seek programs like ours out to show that, there are indeed people who want to work towards bridging the gap and mending the relationship between community and law enforcement.
Great. I thought we had a caller on there, but okay, we do have a caller. Caller, your question or comment?
Hello, I was just wondering, if after viewing this program, do you all think that it's encouraging more minority males to apply as police officers? I know historically in Chicago we've had a big problem with getting minority males to apply as police officers. Can you answer that, please?
Thank you, caller. I'll try that. It is our hope that we would get more and more people of color to come and join the Chicago Police Department and other law enforcement agencies. It's amazing how this program and the interaction with our young people out there shows them a different side of policing. Show them that police officers are people just like they are. I think Carla was speaking earlier about doing some role reversals, and in one of the programs, and one of the young people were very found it very, very difficult to be in the reverse position of being a police officer and trying to get us as role players to clear a corner or to leave a room, and they just threw their hands up and they got a great sense of what it is, to be a police officer for a few minutes. And I think it's going to be something that is going to bode well for them in their relationships, to find out that police officers are not the bad guy. Police officers are trying to serve and to protect and do the right thing. And at the end of the day, we want to be about accountability, transparency, and respect above all else. And I think that mutual exchange of respect with the young people going through this program is something that probably is going to bode well and endear itself to young people wanting to be a part of law enforcement. I think we might have another caller on. Caller, you have a question or a comment?
Hi, I do. I just tuned in, so I may have missed the answer to this question, but I just wanted to know, is this program only for school-age children, or is it for adults as well?
Okay, thank you, caller.
Thank you, caller. No, this program can be done in front of any type of audience. Yes, we are in schools, in middle schools and high schools, but we have done, several of these events for adults. So there's no age restriction or specific audience that we're targeting. Our main goal is just that we get the information to the community, and we can, we do take great care to make the information or the dissemination of the information appropriate for that age group. So there's no age restriction.
Okay, another caller. Caller, your comment or question?
Hi, yes, I just want to comment on how well Noble has collaborated with not just community organizations, but also Greek organizations, in that helping to try to stop the violence and also bring awareness to young people on their rights and what do they need to do when they get stopped by the police. So I just want to commend Noble on being at the forefront of not just doing it for themselves, but doing it and partnering with other organizations to make sure that the community is well informed on their rights and what they need to do when they get stopped by the police.
Okay, thank you so much, caller. And I'm going to run a few slides, and you're going to be able to talk about some of the different training sessions that you put on. And I think one of those slide on one of the collaboration with some of our fraternities or sororities might be in there as well. And so I'm going to do that in just a minute. But just can you tell me how many people have been trained and in what agencies and community-based organizations or wherever? I don't know how many law enforcement officers that you've trained in this. I know this is pretty extensive training. If you can tell us how long that training is, and then tell us how many people you've trained.
Absolutely. So the training that we have devised is a 2-day training. And so far, even just within the Chicago Police Department, I believe we have trained about 250
Wow.
police officers of all ranks. And
Excuse me, and ethnicities or just?
yes, no, and again,
Okay.
people always ask, well,
Okay.
do I have to be, a certain race, or do I have to be law enforcement? No, we will train everybody. Obviously, the goal of the program is that law enforcement be the facilitators of the program. But, we have trained people, all the way to Michigan, to Indiana. So, this is something that this training has been requested, by many different people, different police departments or entities across the nation. So.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to just run a few of the slides that we had
Absolutely.
talked about, and then you can just kind of comment, if you will, as we go through them there.
Absolutely. So these are just pictures of the different, of some of the sites that we were in last school year. Both as the 12-session program, but also as, one-day programs that we have in churches or different functions as well. This is the one that we had with Sigma Gamma Rho sorority at the beginning of last year. And one thing that we put together was the Stronger Together initiative. We came up with this title before it became trendy now with the presidential campaign. But the point of the Stronger Together initiative was that we wanted to have a call of action to everybody in the community, law enforcement, civilian, everybody alike, to come together in order to be stronger together against this violence that we see here in Chicago. And part of that was cleaning up neighborhoods and so forth. Obviously the father-daughter dance was a great success last year. It was great again this year, and we look forward to continuing that as well. Bud Billiken always has a special place for us. And was also this year, even though it was, amidst all the tensions, our chapter was still out there, and basically bridging relationships. Traffic safety, this is something that we do in partnership with State Farm, and has been a great success. And then obviously, we really do pride ourselves in providing scholarships to different causes. One of our main scholarship recipients are people in the Chicago Police and Firefighter Training Academy, which is a great, a great program as well.
Right. We've been sending out scholarships for Chicago police and firefighters for more than 12, 14 years, and we'll continue to do that. In order for us to do that, though, there is a fundraiser that we put on every year, and that's our annual dinner dance.
Absolutely.
And so we want to make sure everybody's aware of that, and we'll talk about that coming up on October 21st. And maybe you can just talk about that a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. So the dinner dance is one of our major fundraisers that we have every year. It's a great time, but as you just mentioned, all our community outreach and initiatives, can't be done just by will alone. So we do rely on donations and financial support from other partners, community partners that we have. So we do ask everybody to come out and have a great time with us at this and support our cause.
Okay, that's great. Again, I want to just put up our contact information just in case you want to reach out to Carla in terms of having the Law in Your Community session there, or if you want to, join us at the dinner dance. All of the information we have and share is on our website, noblechicago.org, or on you can like us on Facebook at Noble Chicago Metropolitan Chapter, and all of our contact information is there. And so we just want to, continue to be the conscience of law enforcement, continue to be on the front line, trying to make a difference and bringing our community together. And so that's what we've been doing, and all of the outreach that you've been doing up to this point, Carla, has been greatly appreciated. Not just you, but I know you're not doing this by yourself. We're talking about the entire organization stepping up to the plate. So that's just great, great work. And I ask you to, keep up the good work. And hopefully we'll be able to bring you back to talk about even more things, because I know we just kind of went through them pretty quick there. But we appreciate everything that Noble is doing in that area. We thank all of you for watching today, and thank you for calling in and being a part of the program. We are Noble TV. The National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives. From Noble TV, this is Eugene Williams. Thank you for joining us.